Buddies, it's Concert Buddy. Got time for a video. Want to recap something that was pretty cool. Went to my local record show this morning, picked up some stuff. So after the break, I'm going to show you some of the goodies I got. I couldn't decide if it's record show madness in a good way or record show sadness. So coming up, check it out and you tell me. See you in a second. All right, buddies. So as promised in the tease, I went to my local record show, St. Louis Record Collectors Show. I think they have now 6 shows a year, I'm pretty sure. I don't recall it always being this many and this plentiful of occasions to go to the local record show, but I'm not complaining. This March show is usually like a pretty well-attended show. This one in particular was extremely well-attended. Part of it, I'm sure, is probably the lifting of the mask mandates in the city and people wanting to get out and spring cleaning and yada, yada, yada. But generally speaking, the March show and then there's a fall show in September seem to be the 2 biggest shows that I've personally seen, attended, and also vendors from out of state come to this show, and they seem to be a heavy concentration in the March show and September show. So, long-winded way of saying, went this morning, found a couple gems that I hadn't seen at the show before, so let me show you. All right, so the first one I'm going to show is any child of the 80s, or most children of the 80s like me, grew up on wrestling, or some of us did, not everyone, I don't want to generalize, but this record, Piledriver, this is the wrestling album too. This is the second album of soundtracks or ring entrance themes that was released, 1987 as a WWF, later WWE, grew to national prominence. I think a couple years ago, Record Store Day released volumes 1 and 2 as a special edition, so I picked that up.
That's rad.
I do have an old version of album 1. Never found this one in the wild. Obviously the Hulkster front and center, sweating it up, 24-inch pythons. Keep your women away from this guy because he's a savage, right? But was happy to find this. I mean, you've got the theme songs for like Hillbilly Jim, Coco Beware, the Honky Tonk Man. So it's more nostalgic than anything else. I mean, here you see Demolition and this is like their original face paint. So this is like before they really were tag team champions and the WWF's answer to the Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors, NWA. It's probably too much wrestling knowledge and markism for this video.
It's still real to me, damn it!
I was happy to pick this up at a decent price, add it to the collection, and I'm sure this picture of the Hulkster is going to give me nightmares as I go to bed tonight, but happy to pick this one up. You sleeve her and put it on to number 2.
So when you get your feelings hurt by somebody you love, think a minute before you cry and moan about your own feelings.
All right, so number 2 is the soundtrack to Gremlins. Not a very expensive record. I think I paid $10 for this. But anytime I've found this record in the wild, it's been similarly priced, but it has a corner cut. And unless a record is something that's highly sought after or something that's hard to find, and I kind of have to just accept the fact it only comes in a corner cut, I try to avoid the corner cut. So this is the first one I've seen out in the wild that did not have the corner cut, so that was exciting. Priced right. Again, child of the 80s, like I said before on the last record. So I was excited to pick this up. I've got probably more soundtrack records than I care to admit, and probably should care to house at this point, but still room for Gremlins to add to the collection.
Every one of my records means something.
Another record I picked up at the show this morning was the Doobie Brothers' Toulouse Street. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Please tell me in the comments below if I'm mispronouncing this. I know this as the Doobie Brothers' first record. It's pre-Michael McDonald. I know that some of their biggest hits, like Listen to the Music, Don't Start Me Talking, Rockin' Down the Highway, were on this record. Recent inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've been looking for this. I find it here and there, but it's usually a repress. It's usually on the later, Palm Trees, Warner Brother label. So I've been looking for it on the original OG green label, as you hear my dog bark. And here she is. Found it at a good price, green label, exactly what I was looking for. So happy to add that one to the collection. All right, so the next record I'd like to show you guys is Mobile Fidelity, original master recording. I gotta be honest, the St. Louis show, these things are few and far between. You don't see a lot of MoFi offerings, and if you do, they're usually things that people have bought recently, probably trying to make a buck, probably trying to get the free shipping from Music Direct or Mobile Fidelity itself. So things I already have. So when I find something that's a MoFi release at the record show, automatically the radar goes up. It's particularly something that they made in the 80s, like this one, this Jethro Tulle, The Broadsword and the Beast. Steve Carlson, I know, is a huge Jethro Tulle fan. That's kind of where I first started getting a little piqued interest in giving him a listen. But got a good price on this. Like I said, you don't see these at the show too often. But as I'm trying to build a robust Mobile Fidelity collection, anytime I can find something that hits 2 points, priced well, and something I'll listen to. There's a lot of Mobile Fidelity records that I could pick up, but they're just things I honestly won't listen to, and I'm not that like abhorrent that I just have to have everything. Mobile Fidelity, I'm sure it'd be very expensive to try to do something like that. I know some people are completionists, more power to you, but that's not really my vibe. So saw this, good price, something that I knew I'd give a listen to, had to add it to the collection. All right, grand finale coming up.
Oh my sweet Jesus.
And the grand finale is a record that, I gotta be honest, I had to buck up for. This is Pantera's second record, independently released, Projects in the Jungle. If you saw an earlier video in my YouTube existence, I picked up Pantera's first record when I was down at the Austin Record Show with all the members of the band at that time had signed it. So now I kind of got my gears going about being a completionist, and can I find the other 2 records that they released independently before they started doing major label stuff. And this is obviously the second one. The gentleman at the show, Greg, super nice guy, knows his music, great to talk to. I believe he had this last show, and that kind of put this on my radar, but it was a little pricey. Still a little pricey, but COVID, tax, and vinyl seems to continue to head the north direction. And so with that, you have to accept certain realities if you want to get these things that, quite honestly, probably won't be repressed officially anytime soon. There's several bootlegs. I think I even have one that I picked up recently just as a substitute. But in the end, you really want the real deal. This comes on the yellow label. Again, Metal Magic Records was their label that they're authorized or were running as they're starting off their thing, Vinny and Dimebag. But super stoked. I mean, super cheesy. I mean, I'm sure if a lot of you guys know Pantera, they definitely changed their sound from this type of stuff to the stuff that more mainstream fans would know them in the early 90s and 2000s and so forth. So this was the belle of the ball.
You, my friend, would be the belle of the ball. Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap.
I even left the show to kind of deliberate and pontificate if this was something that I really wanted to buck up, and here's reality. So, as Mike Wolf, American Picker, says, the time to strike is when you see it, and that's very true because this is the only copy I've ever seen in St. Louis and Missouri as a whole. So it just added up. So I went back to the show, talked to Greg, we worked something out, and here she is. So that was my experience. Now, as I said in the beginning, some people may say, oh, the record show, sadness. Could have got some other stuff, or the stuff you got is, nice but not nice. Or is it madness, the fact that I went back after leaving the show hours before to pick up this Pantera record? That's the madness piece. So tell me what you think in the comments, madness or sadness. Do you like what I got? Want more information on the St. Louis show? I'm happy to put that down below in the video description if you're ever interested or in the area to check it out. It's a great show. It's been going on a long time, longer than I've been going on. Buddies, appreciate you watching. Appreciate your feedback. Appreciate your vinyl community patronage. And with that, you know what I'm going to say. If you get a chance, just spin it. See you soon.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, We out of time.